Welcome and thank you for tuning in to the IT Leadership Academy Cohort 27 graduation. I'm Brenda Bridges-Cruz, the Deputy Director over the Office of Professional Development at the California Department of Technology. This program kicked off in January, and 6 short months later, here we are celebrating the students graduating from one of the world's most prestigious university campuses, Harvard. I mean, look at this place. It is so amazing. But all kidding aside, our world has turned upside down in these few short months. Graduations across the nation and in the Sacramento Valley have had to pivot to holding those online platforms in order to celebrate the milestones of all of the students. We wanted to make sure that we were able to do the same with our ITLA graduates in order to recognize them and celebrate with them. There was a major disruption to their program. We were 3/4 of the way through it when we had to take a pause for 2 months. And when we reached back out to them to say that we were able and ready to continue the program, they were so excited and so eager, and they wanted to jump right back in and pick up right where they left off. So I commend them for their flexibility, for their patience, and their perseverance as we learned a new way to get through this and were able to make sure they completed the program. Back in January at our kickoff, Amy made a special mention to a retired executive that has been a huge proponent of ITLA. He was in the IT Management Academy Cohort 2 and supported the programs this whole time. We want to say a special thank you to Joe Panora, and we plan to put up a special wall of fame, making him our first honorary member. But in the meantime, we want to say thank you, Joe, for all of your support over all of these years. I also want to say a special mention to another IT executive, Chief Scott Howland, who is the CIO at the California Highway Patrol, will be retiring at the end of this month. Scott has been our go-to executive speaker for our graduations and for our kickoffs. He has taught courses in the Information Security Leadership Academy. He has helped out in the Walk Like a Leader program, and he has sat on various executive panels for various academies. We will greatly miss you, Scott. We thank you so much for all of the support and the participation that you've given to our academies. It's been a pleasure working with you. I wish you all the best and congratulations on your retirement. And with that said, and without further ado, I'd like to kick off the graduation with an introduction to our State Chief Information Officer and our Director at the Department of Technology, Amy Tong.
Thank you, Brenda, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Great to be with you and have this opportunity to celebrate and congratulate you all from the ITLA graduation. Hey, you are already the cohort and the class that is making history from being the first ITLA cohort having a video graduation. Take that, Joe Panora. I know you were with the ITMA class 2. I think you guys were talking about pins or something. This class is actually graduating from a video celebration. All kidding aside, really a privilege. And thank you for being so flexible, as Brenda mentioned, and accommodating, giving the unprecedented time that we're going through. By watching how you all have, take strides with this challenge and overcome it, and now together in this celebration over video, I know we have a great group of folks coming up as our future leaders. Just a few words, something that I've been, trying to model and work towards as a continuous improvement as my own leadership skill. Hopefully it's a bit of a help to you as you continue your journey to become our future leaders. 3 things that is very top of my mind, especially when we are going through this pandemic time, is that how to be that good leader, how to be that strength of source for your staff and for your colleagues and for the people that you work with. Be nimble, have the agility, be adaptive to the environment that you're in. Many things are out of our control. Many things are coming to us with not much of a notice. You just roll with it. Figure out the way to make the best decision with the best information that you have at the time. Do not look for that perfection. It is okay to go forward, and having a decision and in order to keep the ball moving forward is much more important to wait and wait and wait for that perfect solution. Especially in this time of pandemic, we have to make decision in a matter of days instead of matter of weeks or months. And in some way, that's a good way of telling all of us that environment of, willingness to take risk. It's okay to continue to iterate. And if something didn't go as a plan, don't worry about it. Fix it and move forward. So be very nimble in order to keep up with the pace. Second is be a committed leader. That I have really taken to heart. Many of the situations are not easy, and the higher you get, the more difficult decision you are faced with. Have the willingness to shoulder that. Have the inner strength to be okay with that and create that airspace for your team, for your staff, for the people that you work with. You are the one that willing to make the hard decision. You are the one that, after looking at all the circumstances, evaluating all the options, listen to all the advice, you're the one have to be accountable for that decision. And that is what a committed leader is all about. It doesn't matter if things didn't go the way you wanted it. Have a broad shoulder, be accountable, take ownership of it. At the same time, if there's a success, and share the credit, share the kudos with people that are in there with you. That way you will earn the respect of your team, knowing that you're going to be there for them all the time. Which leads to me, the last thing is my motto, be that rock for your team. In this case, you celebrate with them, you go through a hard time with them. When things are hard, being compassionate, help figure out how to problem solve, figure out how to be there for them and make those tough decisions together. When times are good, be silly, make light of yourself and do something fun with the team so they can get a little bit of a breather in this long string of difficult work. Being in technology is hard, right? My predecessor tells me it's a thankless job. We get blamed for everything, but you know what? No problem. Somebody have to be here, do the hard work, and able to make our business partner and our departments able to deliver. So with that, you have selected a profession to be in technology. You have made a choice that you want to be that future leader. And that's the inner strength, that's the commitment, that's the agility and being adaptive. It's going to help you to be successful, to become that future leader. And along the way, be very open to people who you can learn from. And to name the 3 honorees that we were mentioning, Joe Panura, going to be our very first Hall of Famer, Scott Holland, who's retiring, as well as Andrew Amani, the AIOs of the 2 agencies, who is going to be retiring end of the month also. 3 individuals I have tremendous respect for, learn a lot from them. And I want to take this opportunity to really, really congratulate and thank them for their services to the state of California. I want to introduce the next speaker, someone that I also look up to and continue to learn from, is the State Chief Technology Officer and the Acting Deputy State CIO and the Acting Chief Deputy Director of California Department of Technology, Richard Rogers.
Hello, ITLA 2020. Congratulations on being a unique class to have the video conferencing graduation. I hope everyone and their families are safe during these trying times. I know that you may not have had the chance to experience the physical experience that this academy had originally planned to offer. But during this academy, you had a chance to see what the future may have in store for government. I like to do things in 3s, so I will discuss service transformation, urgency, and culture. Service transformation. There has been several key IT transformations over the last 30 years. The first IT transformation was for improving the processing experience for the state employee. The internet came along, and it was to provide self-services for the residents of California. A bigger population had mobile phones, so mobile apps were targeted. Now we need to focus around the customer experience. Think Governor Newsom's Citizenville. Think of how things were different 10 to 15 years ago when you need to get the following things done. You need to get some new tires for your car, so you would go to an auto shop. You need to pick up some food, so you go to a grocery store. You want to buy some socks, so you go to a clothing store. You want to get a baseball glove, so you go to a sporting goods store. Or you want to buy a printer, so you go to a computer store. Now you're able to go to places like Walmart, Costco, and Fred Meyer's to do one-stop shop. The state departments need to lose this identity too, and just to be part of California if we want to make this citizen-centered transformation. So let's talk urgency. I think everyone has seen the urgency we've had to do over the last couple of months. With COVID-19, we've had to deliver services very quickly. The governor providing daily stats to the residents and employers on safety, aid, and the restoration plan. So we needed to provide him with data almost at an hourly rate. We needed to implement telework for the state of California in 2 weeks. We need to provide stimulus money for the recently unemployed. This rapid implementation will now need to be the expected standards for the state. In order to make this happen, we will need to change the culture. So now let's talk culture. I am sure you learned about culture in ITLA. There is always some kind of culture in every environment. Not knowing the direction or strategy, not knowing how direction will impact staff, not knowing change at all, not getting along with the vendor community, not getting along with management. In the worst situation that everything is going well in your environment, please capture why and don't change anything if you can help it. You will need to recognize what the culture is in your environment. What are you going to do to get culture to understand and implement urgency? When you think culture, most people only think internal to the staff that reports to them or within the department. But what about the culture of your stakeholders and the customers that you're providing services for? You need to manage them too. Again, look at how the governor is consistently communicating with the residents of California on COVID-19. I guarantee that you would need to deal with culture, and there may be times where you may need to make decisions that are unpopular with either your employees, your stakeholders, or your customers. Let's use some examples around the civil unrest that is happening today in youth sports and how they handled the employee protest. In the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, who was the quarterback of the 49ers, and some of the other players kneeled during the national anthem. The owners felt pressure from the stakeholders, which was corporate America, to have the players stop this type of protest. The owners then banned the players from doing this type of protest. In the NBA, the owners sided with the employees, the NBA players. It may be easy to look back to see how each set of owners should have handled this situation, but the choice was not so easy for them at the time. Well, before I close, I want to thank the executive sponsors, families, friends that was supportive of this class. I understand that Joe Pernoro continues to show his great leadership even after he's been retired for a number of years. I also want to acknowledge Scott Hallen and Andrew Amani for the great services that they provided for this IT community in the state of California. Congratulations to the class of ITLA 2020, and I can't wait to see how each of you will be propelling the state forward. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce an ITLA 25 alumnus and now CDT's internal CIO, Quentin Wright.
Hello, ITLA 27. I'm the CIO of CDT and an ITLA 25 graduate. My journey through ITLA was a great journey. I had great teachers. I had great students around us. Our cohort was a really good cohort. It really helped me to get to where I am today. I started in ITLA 25 a couple of years ago, and after I graduated, a week and a half, I became a CIO of the Office of Traffic Safety. And then this year, becoming the CIO of CDT, where ITLA resides. And it's ironic that I came back to the department where I learned my skills and utilized those skills to become the CIO. And some of the things that I learned within ITLA is invaluable. It's life lessons, plus can help you in your future endeavors when you decide to go into a leadership role. And some of those things that I learned in there were the business chemistry, the strategic planning, the IT project management skills, other skills that helped me hone that person and leader within me to go to that next step. And I think that given the opportunity that you guys have had, only a few people get to do this each year, And I think this class, you'll be our future leaders, and us as leaders now that have gone through the ITLA program will be on the sidelines cheering for you. We're here for you. We'll do the best we can to assist you, and don't be afraid to ask us any questions. We're here. Thank you. And congratulations to the graduating class, ITLA 27.
Thank you, Quentin. It's always so exciting to see an ITLA alumnus move up through the ranks by applying what they've learned in the academy. So congratulations on that, and welcome to CDT. And now I'd like to introduce our program coaches for the year, Michelle Lawson and Blake Cook.
Do you remember the second day of class? We knew that you were a special class on day 2, and the second day, let me remind you, was when you had an exercise to deal with symbolism and appearances, where we went through logos and their meanings and things like that. You were broken up into separate groups. The objective that you had to do that day was to come up with a coat of arms that would represent the ITLA 27 class. So all the groups came up with some excellent ideas, and then the assignment was for the entire class to vote on a single winner that would represent the entire class. And you went through some rigorous voting. It was almost unanimous that one coat of arms stood out above the others and represent the class. The symbolism behind this coat of arms that you came up with was incredible. It showed ITLA 11011, which was binary for ITLA 27. It had 30 stars on it, 1 star for each student. It had the cloud, which represented, well, the cloud. And it also had a laptop, a cell phone, a tablet, which represented technology and to include mobile technology. Raining from the cloud were the words visionary, trust, integrity, and inclusion. That symbolism did represent the class and never stopped after day 2. It was very impressive. So we wanted to make a medallion out of that coat of arms, and well, unfortunately, we weren't able to pursue it after the COVID-19 hit. And what it would have looked like is this. And at that time, we knew that this was a class of future leaders. We want you to know that many of the instructors that came through after day 2 had commented on how well this class gelled and how interactive and involved you were. You were very special, and you never ceased to amaze us. Recently, we had to make some decisions that impacted the rest of our training, but I think that everybody involved made the right decisions to get you through the rest of this academy.
Blake brought us back to day 2 of the academy, and I want to bring us all the way back to day 1. A lot has happened since that time, but on day 1, Blake and I jotted down a few of the things that you wanted to get out of the academy. You said things like, I want to build a network. I want to learn from others. I want to learn about the budget process. I want to learn what other departments do. We're pretty sure, even despite the circumstances, that you got all of that out of the academy, and probably a little bit more. We know that the instruction changed, classes were postponed, and even days changed. But you still had that opportunity to build a lasting network that's the heart of our ITLA class and organization that Blake and I have benefited from since our ITLA classes. During the shelter in place, I saw you blossom as a leadership group despite not being able to be together. You shared ideas on how to procure technology quickly in an emergency status, those things you wanted to learn about the budget. You shared ideas about moving the entire organization or your department to telework quickly. One of the students, Amanda, suggested that our class project idea should change to how to move the state to telework in 1 simple week. I thought that was a great idea. You also shared pictures, videos, strategies, things to do with your kids. It was just a great feed, and Blake and I definitely benefited from all the positive comments. One day during that feed, I had gone for a run, and it was probably the first day I'd had a break in a really long time, and I knew that many of you were having that same experience. And I saw a goat in my neighbor's yard that was just staring at me. I hadn't seen people for a while, so I ran over to the goat, gave it a quick pet, and snapped a picture of it and posted it to the feed. People liked the goat a lot, and Amanda commented that she thought it was for the greatest of all ITLA. I think the team really loved that idea, and the goat then became the mascot. He showed up on the feed in different garb for holidays. It was a great experience and something that made everyone smile. Now, Blake and I are both graduates of ITLA, so we're not sure that we can totally agree with the idea that you're the greatest of all ITLA, but we will give you that you're the most creative in having a mascot, which our classes never had, and we'll say you're the greatest of all ITLA 27.
So Michelle and I wanted to get each of you a mascot, but we found out that goats have the same effect as sheep, and as we started to count 30 of them, we kept falling asleep. All right, I know that was pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we're all gonna miss Blake's corny jokes. But on a serious note, you all exercised extreme flexibility, and that's something that will serve you as you move forward in your careers. You know, as leaders, we experience change constantly. It's the only thing we can be guaranteed on. Jobs change, projects change, things are canceled, similar to the class project, and sometimes there's disappointment that goes along with that. We hope that you don't see this change that happened this year as a missed opportunity. I can arguably say that you got more out of this ITLA probably than any other class due to the circumstances. Stressful circumstances have the ability to really bring people together and create that sense of community. You came together a group of strangers on day one. Blake and I didn't even know each other, surprise to many of you. But today you depart as friends and colleagues that you will be able to rely on for the rest of your career. Blake and I were honored to be on this journey with you together, and we've taken a lot from this experience as well. One thing I know for sure is that we won't forget ITLA 27 with your GOAT mascot. We wish you the best, and we look forward to serving California by your side.
And it was indeed an honor and a privilege to serve as your coaches. Okay, ITLA 27, virtual high five.
Congratulations, everyone. Can't wait
did
to
it.
see you soon.
And now we're going to turn you over to one of your own classmates.
It's our pleasure to introduce Kim Sickler, who will give some thoughts on her ITLA 27 experience this year.
During my experience at the IT Leadership Academy, I enjoyed the energy that I gained from my cohort peers and the unending support from our program coaches and advisors. Collaborating with my peers and witnessing our leadership growth was inspiring and showcased the importance of showing up and shining every day. It was clear from the beginning that ITLA was going to be a very special experience. It was evident in that the courses were well thought out and very well planned. Right out of the gate, we learned about business chemistry and how our behavior and our communication style impacts others. And it brought awareness not only to the way we communicate, but how others perceive our communication. The Human-Centered Design course taught us to start with empathy when engaging our stakeholders, including asking them how they would like to be engaged and the importance of understanding their needs. The Change Management course was very timely, with the message being the only constant in the world is change. And we've learned and recently put into practice the importance of modeling the way and guiding our teams from one way of doing things to a new way of doing things, from letting go of the old and embracing the new way of doing business, whether that's adjusting to working remotely and learning new technology in order to work remotely. During our time at ITLA, we were faced with an unprecedented health crisis. We pivoted and we learned how to be great leaders during this time. While we had an unusual finish to ITLA 27, we evolved our learning experience by learning how to Zoom. We entered into Zoom break rooms, and most of all, we stayed ITLA strong. Due to the extraordinary leadership, creativity, and innovation demonstrated by the CDT Office of Professional Development. And in my closing remarks, I would like to remind everyone that at the beginning of ITLA 27, we had an opportunity to work with IT professionals and work alongside them at the 2020 CIO Academy. Andrew Armani's opening remarks encouraged us to fist bump for health. We've now progressed in that we're saying face masks for health. And with that, I say stay ITLA strong and congratulations ITLA 27 graduates.
And now I'd like to introduce our program advisor, Thomas Boone.
Congratulations, ITLA 27. Today is your day. You've made it. Be proud. You are all outstanding leaders ready to shape the future of government technology in California. During this time of crisis, your leadership is going to be essential to the success of government. After your graduation, it is your responsibility to take the knowledge and skills you've acquired during your time in ITLA back to your departments and agencies. You will be asked to model the way, inspire others, solve difficult problems, demonstrate a passion for public service, manage relationships. And one of the things that most impressed me about ITLA 27 was how quickly you grew together in such a short amount of time. It's clear to me that that you guys have formed lifetime connections that will be valuable now and in the future. Don't let those connections fade. Maintain those. These connections are part of the gift that ITLA gives to its participants. Lastly, I want to give you just a little bit of advice going forward as emerging leaders. As emerging leaders, you're going to be asked to speak at different events. And these event organizers are going to say, hey, give me a headshot, give me a bio. Now this is not advice that I haven't given already to other ITLA classes, but this advice is a little bit special and I've adapted it for the COVID times. So make sure that you have a good headshot, professional looking. You don't want to take too long to get back to the event organizers, or they may go on the internet and just find a picture of you and put it on their website and put it in their program. You want to get back to them quickly. Make sure your bio is interesting, but the nugget here is what I've had to adjust or add is make sure if you're doing any of these Zoom conferences or these Zoom panel discussions that you look professional. It's very important to look professional, but just because you're professional does not mean you can't be comfortable. So, as you can see, looking good up here. And as I pan down, I'm comfortable. That way, if I'm in an hour-long panel discussion, my feet aren't getting hot, my legs aren't getting hot, especially during this time of summer when it's 104 degrees. So I'm maximizing, my opportunity to be professional and comfortable. Thank you all. It was a pleasure being an advisor with ITLA 27. And, I did hear that you guys are the GOAT, whatever that means. Thank you guys. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Thomas. Thomas served last year as our program coach and this year as the program advisor. Thank you so much, Thomas, for all of the time and effort you put into the Academy over the past 2 years. And now, without further ado, it is my honor to present to you the ITLA 27 graduates. Congratulations.
Albert Lamb, Department of Community Services and Development.
Brad Jolton, Office of Statewide Health Planning and Development.
Amanda Holmes Davidian, Department of Social Services.
Badri Ganesan, Covered California Health Benefit Exchange.
Caleb Jameson, California Highway Patrol.
Sean Korn, Department of State Hospital.
Edith Thoreau, Franchise Task Board.
Geeta Swaminathan, California Public Employees Retirement System.
Jasmine Bhendu, California Public Employees Retirement System.
Christopher Anderson, California Community Colleges.
Emer McKenna, Office of Legislative Counsel.
Jennifer Bernardo, Department of Healthcare Services.
Jenna Herford, Health and Human Services Agency, Office of the Agency Information Officer.
Javier Diaz, Department of Transportation.
Kathleen Toomey, Employment Development Department.
Lisa Goche, Office of Systems Integration, CalPERS Project.
Evan Ross, Department of Transportation.
Leo Anguiano, Department of Water Resources.
Kim Sickler, Department of Child Support Services.
Melissa Polka, Department of Healthcare Services.
Brian Dow, California Correctional Healthcare Services.
Corey Artis, Department of Technology.
Lorna Briscoe, Department of General Services.
Samuel Retta, Department of Motor Vehicles.
Tracy Lee, Franchise Tax Board.
Ida Arjula, Department of Technology.
Minette Enriquez, Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
Saul Gonzalez, Department of State Hospitals.
Thank you. Prerna Mahajan, Department of Human Resources.
Simi Singh, Office of Systems Integration.
Yay!
Congratulations, ITLA 27, class of 2020. And here are some fun moments of us spending time together in our pre-COVID days. Yay!
Let's go!
Thank you, coaches.